Good morning. Happy couple of days after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a nice one. I know we did. I've kind of been trying to do easy cards lately because I know I have been so busy with everything else going on, as I'm sure you have too. So I pulled out this Cheers to the Season, which was one in the mini catalog that we had, and made just this cute card for a happy birthday. See? Easy, easy peasy. All right, so what we need is we need a piece of cardstock. Just write it down. Okay, cardstock. That is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is just a quarter of a sheet of 8 1/2 by 11. So you're only using just a quarter sheet for the back of this card. And then you're going to need a piece of or 2 pieces of either white or vanilla. Looks like this one's vanilla instead of white, which is fine. And I made, let's see, white or vanilla. And it's 4 by 5 1/4, but then it's cut in half. Cut in half. So we go 2 by, it's about 2 5/8. Okay. So we'll do that. And then I have a piece of matte that's going to be here. That's going to be, let's see, 2 1/8 by 2 3/4. Okay. And then you're going to take a piece of 6 by 6 DSP. Now I'm just using this was a New Horizons. This was a set that, or a paper that was around a while ago. And I just had a pack of it left and I thought I would use some of it up. That's got the green, but I wanted something, again, that has the green and the blue in it since I already had those pieces cut. These were so pretty, and I think that they make just a great, background where that's got a little bit of the blue in it. It's got a lot of the green, where you can, make your focal point just about anything that you'd like. That's an interesting one. Let's use that. Okay. So this is going to be the base of the card. So I need to cut this down because, of course, 6 inches is bigger because this is only 5 1/2. So I've got to figure out, and I think I'm going to cut off the bottom. So I'm going to make it so that it's just 5 1/4. You don't have to have a scene, on these cards. It can be anything you want. Flowers, prints, whatever. Let me keep this over here. All right, so then we're going to have, I think I want this to be the base. So you need to decide what's going to be the inside, and I think that's really pretty. And so we're going to just move the trimmer out of the way. We're just going to score it at either 4 inches this way or 2 inches this way, however you want to look at it. Okay. And then that's just going to get mounted right on the front here, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of a border. Okay. Very nice. So now all I have to do is cut this piece in half. Remember, we're making our 2 that are 2 by 2 5/8. Oops. Popped out of the track. Okay. And that's one for the front and one for the inside. All right, so this one doesn't have the blackberry bliss on it like this one did here. So I think instead, I always like to look at the back to see what colors they're using. I think I'm going to use the garden green on this one for my, well, no, I'm not going to do that because I've got the garden green here. So let's see what other colors we have. Bumblebee, I don't know that that would be dark enough. Evening Evergreen, that might be pretty. Misty Moonlight I'm using. Pink Soft Succulent. All right, so the Evening Evergreen, I think, is what the colors picked up here. So I am going to use that. So when I'm using a larger stamp like this, I like to always use my Stamparatus. You don't have to have one. You can absolutely just use a block. I didn't wipe the Blackberry Bliss off of this yet because I thought I might be using it again, but now I'm not. So I've just got to clean the stamp a little bit. So I like to use this because if you know a little bit of it doesn't come out, I can very easily stamp it the second time. So what I typically do on this is I mark it where I want to put my paper. I don't like to go up in the corner. I feel like I don't ever get a good image when I do that. So I like to do this. And then I just let me just show you. I sit the stamp right on top of it where I'd like for it to go. And then I just pick it up. Okay, now on this too, you can always put the stamp case underneath it. That makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I said I was going to do Evening Evergreen. Look at that. I still have a little bit of my Blackberry Bliss on there. That's okay. This will stamp right over it. Or I could turn the paper over. We'll see what happens. I've got quite a bit around the edge here. Oops. I like to usually wipe that off. This is a distinctive stamp, so it has those lighter and darker spaces on it. And that one white space that's there kind of under the R. That's what I was trying to make sure I had enough ink on there, but it's definitely going to be lighter. Oh, that came out fine. Okay, so that looks good. And then if I needed to stamp another one, I could just stick another piece of paper right in there. But I am not going to do that. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I had already made my second card. All right, and then I liked, this was a little stark for me, but I liked having the dots on there. So I wanted to do some of those. Feel kind of like, I don't know, flighty today or something. Maybe it's because I've got to go back to work tomorrow. And I'm just kind of putting some of these around. Now see how I got it on the edge? I don't like for that to show up, so I usually will stop and wipe that off and then ink again. And that just happens when you get a heavy hand when you're inking. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. And then I think I will put a few on the inside too, just because I've got it out. Okay. Right. That was the Misty Moonlight. It's an old in color, but it went with this paper. So, okay. Get my chamois. Go ahead and wipe that off because I'm done with that. So I want to put some on the envelope, which I probably will. Okay, so then I would mount this on here. And that leaves a very small margin on the side. So if you like that, that's good. If not, you can always trim a little bit off of the piece. I like it with the small margin. So I'm going to leave it as is. Now notice I'll usually turn it upside down to make sure that my adhesive is there because I don't want to rub the front and end up getting ink on it. Okay, so then I'm just going to mount this right here on this side. So I only want to put adhesive over here. I knew I was going to run out, so I had an extra already ready. It was so close, but I hated to waste any of it. This goes just like this. Got my tree up. I was happy about that. My Thanksgiving / fall decorations were taken down. There we go. And I just put adhesive over the whole thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, see, I only needed it on the one side and I just was talking and not paying any attention. I am going to grab another piece of green. I have a piece of green over here, and I do. And I'm just going to cut it exactly the same, 2 3/4, and just double mount this. All right, I could try to take the vanilla piece off of the green, but this is another thing you can do. That's why I don't ever mind if I mess up. There's always a fix. And maybe I've helped somebody now. Okay, so point taken, only put adhesive on the side. And then I just center this. There we go. And then on this one, I used the kind of the blob there. I used it with the fresh freesia before, but this has got more yellow in it. So I think I'm going to use the Bumblebee, which I do not have laying here. It always works out, doesn't it? This is crushed curry, but that's going to be close enough. Okay. Let's see how dark that is. Not very, so that's good. That's good. Sometimes the colors have to be exact and sometimes they just have to be close. And then the happy birthday. Again, I had done that in Blackberry Bliss before, but I'm going to do it in another green. And this was just a birthday stamp from one of my, I don't remember if it's a paper pumpkin or if it was one of the kits. And I always keep those and reuse, especially the sentiments, because those are great. There we go. Okay, almost done. And remember, it went actually much quicker because I made a mistake or two. All right. So I'm going to put some liquid adhesive on this one. And then I want to line it up so that this is just behind the other one. So I'm going to put this just about here. See how that covers it then? And remember, I didn't mat this one, so it's just a little bit smaller than the one on the front, so it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, that it doesn't have to be exactly even. Okay, so now, and this piece here, I was going to tell you that you cut off. Depending on what you're using, you might want to use it in here as an accent piece, out here. But otherwise, you have this little piece of extra. So there are my two cards. And again, I just think it makes for a nice birthday card if you have someone that likes to drink wine. Um, Using that cheers to the season, which will be going away here at the end of the month or as they run out, I believe. So if you want it, you need to grab it. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.